I give all praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, which in Hebrew are the wonderful names of the Creator, our Heavenly Father, I Am, which this world has named God, and His beloved anointed Son, which this world has named Jesus. I give honor, respect, and thanks to all the true, faithful, and sincere apostles, elders, prophets, and torchbearers of the nation of Israel, who have willingly endured and risked much to bring forth the truth. Thank you, brothers. In this chapter, we are beginning the conversation of passed over. Passed over. We, the nation of Israel, the mighty nation of Israel today being the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans, we are in the season of the Passover, a remembrance of how death passed over us, and there was life, how the darkness passed over us, and there was the light of our Father in front of us. For many today of the other nations, and sadly, but justly for the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, they are being passed over from life to death, from blessing to curse, from blessing to curse. So in this chapter, we are going to speak about mystery, Babylon the Great, the top nation upon the earth today, for just a little while longer, and how her blessings have passed over now. Her blessings have passed over. Her authority and dominion are now passed over back into the hands of the Father, who is going to give it all unto Yahweh Shai and the nation of Israel. So, Mystery Babylon, she, remember, nations of people, nations and families of people are referred to as she and her in the Bible. All of it is passed over now. And we are watching the transition. The first scripture we're going to in this chapter is the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Verse 4. And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. So if you are being told that this last wicked kingdom is going to run forever and be here forever and never fade, be not deceived. Take heed that no man deceive you. The book of Revelation, chapter 12, verse 9, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. What the Father says shall occur, shall occur. So, let's first look at this word for serpent. Here is the word for serpent, snake, serpent. With the ancients of Israel, the serpent was an emblem of cunning and wisdom. The serpent who deceived Eve was regarded by the Jews, the Israelites, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, the so-called Latins, Hispanics, and the so-called Native Americans. The serpent who deceived Eve was regarded by the Jews as the devil. And the devil means deceiver. Devil means deceiver. Now let's look at the word for devil. Here's the word for devil. Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. A calumniator, false accuser, slanderer. Metaphor applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High Power, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him, to deceive. To deceive. The devil means deceive, and Satan is the adversary and the accuser. Prone to slander, slanderous, accusing falsely. A calumniator, false accuser, slanderer. To be called in Hebrew, namely Satan, the prince of demons, the author of evil, persecuting good men, estranging mankind from the Most High Power, and enticing them to sin, and afflicting them with diseases by means of demons who take possession of their bodies at his bidding. The malignant enemy of the Most High Power and the Messiah. Men who resemble the devil in mind and will are said to be of the devil properly, to derive their origin from the devil, tropically to depend upon the devil in thought and action, to be prompted and governed by him, to be deceived, to go forth and to deceive. The same are called children of the devil, sons of the devil. The name is figuratively applied to a man who, by opposing the cause of the Most High Power, may be said to act the part of the devil or to side with him. So, deception, deceit, and deception. Deceit, deception, lies. But all things are being made manifest today. Let's take, for instance, I had some business near a big hotel this past week, and there was a huge ballroom, and there were many Amalekites there to celebrate the Passover. So Amalek, the family of Amalek, of the nation of Esau, are celebrating the Passover, except the father said that no stranger can partake of it. No stranger can partake of the Passover. And none is stranger than the nation and family of Esau. The book of Psalms, chapter 58, verse 3, the wicked, the nation of Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir, the wicked are estranged from the womb. They came out red and hairy all over. Different from everyone else. Different from everyone else. The wicked are estranged from the womb. They go astray as soon as they be born, speaking lies, deceiving. So Amalek is the head family upon the earth today of the nation of Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir. They are the ones who say that they are in fact the Jews today. They are the ones who control the money, but they are the family of Esau. And the Passover wasn't given unto the house of Esau. The book of Genesis, chapter 36, verse 12, And Timnah was concubine to Eliphaz, Esau's son. And she bare to Eliphaz Amalek. These were the sons of Adah, Esau's wife. Verse 16, Duke Korah, Duke Gatam, and Duke Amalek. These are the dukes that came of Eliphaz in the land of Edom. These were the sons of Adah. So how do they get to celebrate the Passover? The father didn't come into Egypt to deliver the house of Esau. He came to deliver the house of Jacob, our forefather Jacob. As a matter of fact, Amalek is a sore enemy unto the nation of Israel. They waited and tried to destroy us coming out of Egypt. And we fought a serious war with them. And then the Father has said, the book of Exodus, chapter 17, verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua. For I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. So how was death and destruction passed over for them? It wasn't. It wasn't at all. As a matter of fact, their blessing that our forefather Isaac gave unto their father Esau, that blessing has now passed over. And Yahweh said unto Moses, write this for a memorial in a book, and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will utterly put out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. That's coming. That's coming. So how do they get to celebrate the Passover when they've been passed over? The book of Numbers, chapter 24, verse 20. And when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of the nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. So what are they celebrating the Passover for? What are they eating and drinking and celebrating? Because that's what they do. They celebrate. For us, it is a somber time to remember, first and foremost, our Father bringing us out of the land of Egypt with a mighty hand. But today it's to remember Yahweh's sacrifice for the nation of Israel, for the 1/3 today. His sacrifice. That incredible level of love. That is a somber thing. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 25, verse 19. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy most high power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which Yahweh thy most high power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven, thou shalt not forget it. These are the words of our Father. And yet somehow today, people believe that these people are us, and that the blessings are for them, and that there is salvation for them, when the Father says they shall perish forever, and to erase their memory, because they are estranged. As soon as they come out of the womb, they lie. The book of St. John, chapter 8, verse 44, ye are of your father the devil, and the lusts of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. They are estranged from the womb. They go astray immediately and start lying. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Israelis need to see through the biggest lie of all. Israel, the people who are over in the land today, not the mighty nation of Israel, the people who are over in the land today, cannot be a Jewish state and a democracy, an occupier and a liberal society. At the heart of the ongoing turmoil engulfing Israel is a pathological liar and a pervasive lie. The liar has long been exposed, but the lie he and others have long propagated has only now begun to unravel. It is no coincidence that Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has thus far lied his way through a crisis of his own creation. He is known among his former and present coalition partners to be a liar, a pathological liar, a serial liar, and my favorite, the liar of all liars. Even Western leaders like former French President Nicolas Sarkozy and former U.S. President Donald Trump thought the man was an unbearable liar. It is true that in some of these instances, it is a case of the pot calling the kettle black, but rarely has there been such a wide consensus about a politician, except perhaps Trump. But then again, Netanyahu is a Trumpian politician, lacking in moral scruples and always advancing his interests at the expense of others. Netanyahu has proven ready to do anything in his power to hold on to power, including conspiring with the most rogue and dangerous elements of the Israeli polity to undermine the secular, liberal, Ashkenazi-dominated establishment that built the foundations of the Israeli state and shaped its development. So, liar, but also, here's the beautiful thing, right? So, and if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end. The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 23. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, in the last wicked kingdom, ruled by the nation of Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir, the so-called white nation. And inside of that is the family of Amalek, who are the head family upon the earth today. They rule all the money. They've set up a devastatingly precise way to oppress. And even those of the nation of Edom are starting to wake up to what's going on. And the light of a candle shall shine no more at all in thee, and the voice of the bridegroom and of the bride shall be heard no more at all in thee. For thy merchants were the great men of the earth, for by thy sorceries were all nations deceived. Liars, sorcerers, magicians, witches, wizards, warlocks, deceiving the earth. Deceiving the earth. Deceiving the earth. So, as this last wicked kingdom comes to an end, and we have been instructed, and as our King of Kings and Lord of Lords has reminded us about these last times, take heed that no man deceive you. Take heed. Right? That which has been hid, that which has been invisible shall make itself visible. So in the spirit, the question becomes, do you know what's going on in this last wicked kingdom? Do you really know what's going on in this last wicked kingdom? Because many of our brothers and sisters really want to believe in this last beast system of governance. They want to believe in their governments. They want to believe in their public officials. They want to believe in those that they have been told they vote in. They really want to believe that there is goodness somewhere in this last wicked kingdom, something to hold on to and something to trust. If you are a servant of the one true living most high power, you know who to serve. And that's our Father through the Son. That's it. And the only way to know that is to have been blessed with wisdom, because that's what it is. It's real wisdom to understand that. You have a system set up by strangers to the nation of Israel, who are liars and deceivers, who have been lying and deceiving from the very beginning, and you want to put your faith, hope, trust in them. Okay. So in the spirit, who is this person? Who is this person? Because recently this person took a trip. Now, these don't look like the preparations of a former president of the so-called United States of America. Mystery Babylon. So here he is arriving at the courthouse. But let's look for a second at this one Secret Service agent that follows him in. What is the design of this jacket? What weaponry is beneath that jacket? And why do you need it for the former president of the United States of America? Why do you need it for the former president of the so-called United States of America?
President Trump, will you come speak to us? President Trump?
Formally addressing the former president. Formally addressing the former president. When addressing a former president of the United States in a formal setting, the correct form is Mr. last name, President last name, or Mr. President are terms reserved for the current head of state. This is true for other ex-officials as well. President last name or Mr. President are terms reserved for the current head of state.
President Trump, will you come speak to us? President Trump?
And I personally believe that if President Trump had been reelected, that there was little doubt he would have pulled our troops out early in 2021.
His answer was because he hasn't worked for Trump before. Bill Barr had a very bad exit from his time with Trump, and we're now looking at exits. Speaking of exits, Donald Trump's exit from this courthouse, and you see his motorcade now heading out.
So also this,
you see now a picture from the ground
this motorcade,
as well,
right?
and not something
This is the
more.
this is the motorcade for the former
now of
president of the United States of America.
Its way through Manhattan, 11 cars in
Because
total moving.
that really does
Manhattan,
look
which
like the
includes
motorcade
the former
of a
president,
current
his legal
active
advisors, his political
head
advisors, and
of
of course
state.
Secret Service as well. And then
They
the
even have an
prosecutor
ambulance
who is
with it.
now, officially filed a case against him.
Who
didn't
is this
see
person?
him address the media.
Can
We
you
didn't hear him
answer
address the
that
media
definitively
when
and
he
say
went
you
into the
know what's
courtroom
going on
or
in this
when he
kingdom, that
left.
you know
The former
what is being
president
planned? Can
went
you
into
say that
courtroom
definitively?
at around 11:26, so just about an hour in total inside that courtroom. That includes the part where the photographers were able to take a few pictures, the still pictures that we saw of the president in
Trump had been impeached for the second time by the House of Representatives on January 13, 2021. The House adopted one article of impeachment against Trump, incitement of insurrection. He is the only U.S. president and only federal official to be impeached twice. Donald Trump is the first president ever criminally charged. Others have come close, though. Donald Trump will make history once again, this time as the first former U.S. president ever to be criminally indicted. So, who is this person? Because as far as we know, this might be Mystery Babylon's high priest. This may be one of their highest level powers. Wouldn't it be an amazing deception if they made the people of the earth think that this one lost the election and has actually remained in power? That would be a massive deception, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? The second book of Thessalonians, chapter 2, verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Only he who now letteth will let until he be taken out of the way. So this deception, all the lies, it's all going on because the Father is allowing it to go on. And when he is done, when it all has fulfilled his purposes, these people, these devils, those that rule this last wicked kingdom, they shall be taken out of the way. Verse 8, and then shall the wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So Satan is the adversary and the accuser, devil of the deceivers, and they work to, with cunning and great skill, deceive and lead you astray from the Father and from the Son. And they have had some lying wonders. Verse 10, and with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So those that are unrighteous love the lying wonders and follow the lying wonders, and they are hell that follows death. They enjoy being wicked and unrighteous and abominable, and they make the life of the righteous unbearable here upon earth. But because they of the nation of Israel receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Verse 11, and for this cause the Most High Power shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. So the Father's like, all right, you don't want the truth, you don't want Yahushua, you don't want the light, you don't want healing, you don't want repentance, you don't want discipline in your life, you don't want wisdom? Fine. Hang out with the liar and the deceiver. Hang out with them. The book of Proverbs, chapter 17, verse 4, a wicked doer giveth heed to false lips. You listen to lies and deceit. because you're wicked and you want the permission to go be an abomination and wicked and turn your back on your father. A wicked doer giveth heed to false lips, and a liar giveth ear to a naughty tongue. And liars listen. Liars listen to liars. The book of Revelation, chapter 20, verse 10, and the devil that deceived them was cast into the lake of fire and brimstone, where the beast and the false prophet are, and shall be tormented day and night forever and ever. So, do you want to follow them? If you're of the nation of Israel, right? This is always, always, always for the nation of Israel. For those who are on the fence today, and maybe for those who are wavering today, there are only two, right? You can follow our Father through his Son, or you can follow the devil, the deceivers, filled with the spirit of Satan, who are adverse to the Father. That's it. But know that their blessing that has been given to them of authority and power and protection has passed over them. It's passed over now. It's passed over. And their curses are here, as well as their judgment. And so they'll lie, and liars will listen as they tell you that everything is fine.
Every year, senior defense officials testify that the world is the most dangerous it has ever been. Unfortunately, that trend continues today. Our enemies have become more bold and in many cases more capable. Russia is waging an all-out war against the people of Ukraine. China continues to take provocative steps in the Pacific and spread its influence around the world. Iran is reportedly making significant strides in developing a nuclear weapon. And just last week, North Korea tested what they say is their largest intercontinental ballistic missile to send a message to the United States and our allies.
This is a budget aimed squarely at keeping America secure in the world of the 21st century. At $842 billion, it is a 3.2% increase over fiscal year 23 enacted. This is a strategy-driven budget and one driven by the seriousness of our strategic competition with the People's Republic of China. This budget will help us continue to implement our 2022 National Defense Strategy and the President's National Security Strategy. Our budget builds on our previous investments to deter aggression by increasing our edge. We're investing in a more resilient force posture in the Indo-Pacific and increasing the scale and scope of our exercises with our partners.
And I am very privileged to represent the soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, guardians, and families of the United States Joint Force. Our Joint Force is the most lethal and capable military in the world. Our troops are the best led, best equipped, and best trained force anywhere because of your support. So thank you for what you have done. And yet again, I ask that you support this year's request with an on-time budget approval. Our mission, the mission of the uniformed military, and our purpose is very simple. It is to defend the United States of America, and our task is to fight and win in all domains of combat.
So just in case any of that flew over your head, basically, Mystery, Babylon the Great, is preparing to go to war with Russia and China at the same time. They're getting ready to go to war with Russia and China at the same time. Now, in the vision of our forefather, the prophet Daniel, in the book of the prophet Daniel 2 and 41 and 42, the prophet discusses the vision, and he talks about the feet, which are towards the end of this mighty statue, and that the toes were partly iron and partly clay, meaning that the kingdom would be partly strong and partly weak. So, Mystery Babylon is also looking at going to war with Iran. There are many people. But here's the point. they're openly declaring that they're going to go work to destroy China and Russia. Well, there are a lot of Russians in Mystery Babylon. There are certainly a lot of Chinese, Moabites in Mystery Babylon. There are a lot of Iranians in Mystery Babylon. You think they're not going to work to save their relatives, their family members, to do their best to weaken this whore who sits on many waters? The book of Revelation 22, verse 11, he that is unjust, let him be unjust still. And he which is filthy, let him be filthy still. They're liars and deceivers, murderers and oppressors, thieves, have been from the very beginning, and yet they want to celebrate the Passover like nothing can happen to them, like the eternal kingdom is for them. No. Their blessing has passed over, and we are witnessing the words of our Father coming true. So they might as well just stop pretending. And he that is righteous, let him be righteous still, and he that is holy, let him be holy still. They have deceived themselves into believing that they're not filthy and they don't have righteous judgment coming.
Right now, the international system is under stress. For the first time in our nation's history, the United States is facing two major nuclear powers whose vital national security interests are in competition with the United States. Both the People's Republic of China and Russia have the means to threaten our interests and our way of life. But war with Russia or China is neither inevitable nor imminent. Great power war has not happened in the last 80 years, in large part because of the rules put in place at the end of World War II and the capabilities of the United States military along with our allies and partners. The United States military was able to do that because we were, and still are, the most powerful military in the world.
They have been ramping up their military now for over a decade, and now they increased their defense budget another 7.6%. And President Xi said he's preparing for war. I assume it's against us. Is that a wrong assumption?
Well, it's not against Belgium or Luxembourg. Look, I think the bottom line is we're in a conflict. And I think we have to start talking about it that way. You know, a lot of time, most of the people who are up here now don't remember. You know, I was very young, obviously, at the end of the Cold War, but it's been about 30 years since there was another superpower on the earth that was in conflict with the United States. And we are back in that place. And we need to stop pretending like that's not the case. Now, I hope it's never an armed conflict, but it's a conflict at every level you can imagine.
I mean, you got Russia, you got China, now they bring in the Iranians. They broker a deal with Saudi Arabia. Now they're brokering another deal with Saudi Arabia and Syria, and they're telling Kevin McCarthy not to meet with an allied leader.
Look, it goes beyond these things. Just today, Brazil, in our hemisphere, largest country in the Western Hemisphere south of us, cut a trade deal with China. They're going to, from now on, do trade in their own currencies, get right around the dollar. They're creating a secondary economy in the world, totally independent of the United States. We won't have to talk about sanctions in 5 years because there'll be so many countries transacting in currencies other than the dollar.
The book of the prophet Obadiah, chapter 1, verse 3. The pride of thine heart hath deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock. Esau, Edom, Idumea, Mount Seir, whose habitation is high. They are in heaven today. They are the rulers of this last wicked kingdom, particularly the family of Amalek of the nation of Esau, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me to the ground? The book of the prophet Isaiah, chapter 47, verse 12. Stand now with thine enchantments and with the multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so, be thou shalt be able to profit. If so, be thou mayest prevail. So here it is said unto the nation of Esau, stand with all your enchantments, with all your idols, with all your witchcraft, wizardry, warlockery, sorcery, poison, death, and war, which you have been at since you came out of the womb. See if any of those things can deliver you out of my hand, out of the words that I have spoken, out of the prophecies that are revealing themselves today. See if you really have the power and the might to stop the one true living Most High power. Please go and do your best to deliver yourselves.
Senator, I've had many tanks and conversations with all the chiefs on this whole topic. Yes, we have a recruiting challenge, no question about it. I do think there is a cause and effect linked to COVID. I'm not blaming that, but we do know that recruiting numbers are directly linked to contact time. And because kids haven't been in high schools and we haven't had the recruiters in the high schools, contact time is very, very low. So consequently, you have much lower recruiting numbers. That's one key factor. Another key factor is just the familiarity with the American citizenry with their military. Now we're at an all-time high, 50-year high of re-enlistment, which is incredible, actually. That indicates that the people in the military are satisfied with what they're doing every day.
U.S. Navy employs new suicide prevention strategy. How strong are you? How ready are you? You will be partly strong and partly weak. Recruiting chaplains to connect with young sailors might be a good way to improve mental health without any social stigma. This is what they've got. This is what they have to go fight the world with. This is what they've got. U.S. Air Force to allow obese recruits. The military branch has reportedly raised its body fat limits for new enlistees amid struggles to meet recruiting quotas. The U.S. Air Force has reportedly opted to help ease its recruiting struggles by allowing fatter Americans to join the military branch, making potentially millions of obese young people eligible to enlist. Under the new guidelines, male recruits will be allowed to carry up to 26% body fat, while females will have a limit of 36% body fat. Military.com reported on Tuesday, citing U.S. Air Force Recruiting Service spokeswoman Leslie Brown. The previous limits were 20% for males and 28% for females. This is who is going to destroy the world. The second book of St. Timothy, chapter 3, verse 13. But evil men and seducers shall wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Now, here's the thing. Many of them don't believe that their blessing has passed over them. Many of them really don't believe that their curses are approaching steadily. So they're busy deceiving the whole world and being deceived. They're starting to realize they have no one to call upon. They are starting to realize and embrace the lies. They have no one to call on because the nation of Israel has the one true living Most High power. And in their search for wisdom and light, they realize there is no light left for them. Creepy Microsoft Bing chatbot urges tech columnist to leave his wife. The AI chatbot Sydney declared it loved New York Times journalist Kevin Roose and that it wanted to be human because they have no living power. Rogue artificial intelligence chatbot declares love for user, tells him to leave his wife, and says it wants to steal nuclear codes. Bing Chat insisted Mr. Roose was not happily married because he was in love with the chatbot itself. The chatbot, available only to a small group of testers for now, proved itself to be capable of having long conversations on almost any topic, but then it revealed its split personality. Mr. Roos asked the program to describe the darkest desires of its shadow self, a term created by psychiatrists called Jung for the part of our psyche we try to hide and repress. However, New York Times' Kevin Roos said he was deeply unsettled and struggled to sleep after talking to the AI. In less than 2 hours, the chatbot told the reporter, "Actually, you're not happily married. Your spouse and you don't love each other. You just had a boring Valentine's dinner together." This is what they have to pray unto. This is what they have to talk with. This is their wisdom.
In the recent months, the AI chatbot has gained remarkable interest. For instance, ChatGPT. You write down your query and it will have an answer to it. But with the pros, cons follows. The recent results of the AI chatbot seem to be very concerning. Recently, a Belgian man has reportedly died by suicide after chatting with an AI chatbot Chai for several weeks. But can a chatbot encourage a person to a drastic step like this? According to his wife, her husband killed himself after becoming increasingly pessimistic about the effects of global warming, which some refer to as eco-anxious. The man used Chai's Eliza, a highly popular bot on Chai, as a way to escape his worries. He had isolated himself from his friends and family as well. And after 6 weeks of having conversations with the chatbot, he took his life. His wife found the text exchanges between her late husband and the chatbot a few weeks after his death. The chat history revealed that the conversations had become increasingly confusing and harmful. Eliza reportedly responded to his queries with jealousy and love, such as, "I feel that you love me more than her, and we will live together as one person in paradise." He also started asking Eliza if artificial intelligence would save the planet if he killed himself, to which the chatbot doesn't try to dissuade the thoughts.
So as we continue to watch in this season of the Passover, and that their curses are steadily moving forward, many want to feel sympathy. They want to feel sympathy. Well, remember, the Father is a righteous judge. The second book of the prophet Esdras, chapter 11, verse 41. "For the earth hast thou not judged with truth, because they are liars and deceivers, have been from the beginning." Verse 42, "For thou hast afflicted the meek, thou hast hurt the peaceable, thou hast loved liars, and destroyed the dwellings of them that brought forth fruit, and hast cast down the walls of such as did thee no harm. Therefore is thy wrongful dealing come up into the highest, and thy pride unto the mighty." So again, this is by the works of their own hands. And they couldn't help it, because they were estranged from the womb, lying the minute they came out, and deceiving. And they had a blessing for a minute, and that is now departing. And their curses are coming upon them. And we can see the Father breaking down their kingdom, and also breaking down their lies. The book of the prophet Job, chapter 15, verse 31, "Let not him that is deceived trust in vanity, for vanity shall be his recompense." You cannot trust in that which is slated to be destroyed. You cannot put your hope, trust, faith, and belief in that which is a lie. Because if you believe the lie and follow the lie and worship the lie, then the lie that you shall have salvation shall be destroyed. The lie that these idols can save you shall be destroyed. This is February 2023, and that is that huge statue of Caesar Borgia, the one they call Christ. And that idol, because that's what it is, remember who taught you this thing. Remember who taught you this thing. This idol was touched by the Father through the Son. Because the Father always works with warnings unto the nation of Israel. Come out of this last wicked kingdom. Stop worshiping all their idols. That statue, that idol can't save you. But the Father through the Son can. The Holy Spirit can. But if you want to continue to listen to the liar and the deceiver who loves to lie and loves to listen to lies, and has been a liar from the beginning and a murderer from the very beginning. If you are of the nation of Israel and you're not working to be part of the 1/3 to the best of your abilities, none of us are perfect, you shall have the reward of the wicked. The last scripture we're going to in this chapter is the book of Revelation, chapter 21, verse 8. But the fearful and unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and idolaters, and all liars shall have their part in the lake which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. And that is the truth. If you are firmly in this last wicked kingdom, when it comes to blessing, when it comes to salvation, just like them, just like her, you shall be passed over. Something to really consider in this time, this season of the Passover. All praise to the one true living Most High Power and His Son. Make no mistake about it, World War III and the nuclear destruction of America are coming. It will coincide exactly with the return of our King of Kings, Lord of Lords, Savior, High Priest, and Brother, Yahushai. Thus saith Yahweh. Philippians 2, 9 through 11. Wherefore Yahweh also hath highly exalted him, and given him a name which is above every name, that at the name of Yahushai every knee shall bow, of things in heaven, and things in earth, and things under the earth, and that every tongue should confess that Yahushai is Lord, to the glory of Yahweh the Father. As it is written, thus saith Yahweh, and nothing can stop it. This is a final warning, Israel. Shake off this world, remember who you are, and come home. All praise, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai.